Welcome, everybody. We are live at another Parents Lounge show. We're coming in for a second or two before we hit the opening credits. To welcome you. We haven't done this in a while. We kind of took a little bit of a break, and I'm not going to lie to you. It felt great, but it feels even better to be back. Jamie Kaler, Jason Gowan of the Parents Lounge. Justin Ruppel will be in here. Taylor, our producer, will be joining us. We might have a few special guests who are showing up.
I love shows where we don't even know who's coming.
I don't even know. I invited a handful of some celebrities, some other friends who I think are going to pop in and share a story about spring break. We're going to talk O.J. Simpson a little bit. I got a good story about. I was there in Brentwood at the time.
Were you in the Bronco?
I may see Cowlings. Don't you know that? Spring break just happened. Why is it 2 weeks long? And it's insanity. Crumbly parents just got convicted. We're going to talk about that. If you have an opinion about that, we want to hear it because I have a very strong opinion about what happened up there.
I can actually feel it coming through the screen.
And Jathan took his kids to Disney and had a very special occasion with Minnie Mouse. But until then, this is a very rare Thursday night. We were just talking today and we said, you know what? Let's go live, have a parental mental health Thursday night. So we're going to give you a couple seconds to go grab a cocktail. Come back. We got a bunch of friends. We'll be here until about 8:15, 8:30-ish Pacific Standard Time. And that's it. Welcome to the Parents Lounge. Grab a drink while we run the opening titles, and we'll see you back here in a couple seconds. So, Jason, you ready?
I'm ready.
Give a big round of the hand. Give a big round. Give a big round. Give a big round. Give a big round. Give a big round of the hand. Give a big round. Give a big round. Big round. Give a big round. Give a big.
We could have homes on separate coasts, go dive in Greece with squids. Could have been so bleeping rich, but instead we had kids. They won't smile for a photo, they won't eat the food we choose. That's why we're heading to the Parents Lounge to drown ourselves in booze. Every day we're more exhausted, we haven't slept in years. They hit me in the nuts so bad, my eyes filled up with tears. And yes, we'd like to fake our death and go off of the grids, but the truth is we are softies and we truly love our kids. So join us every Tuesday night to laugh at all our pain. Evening in the Parents Lounge is the cure to staying sane. Welcome, everybody. We are live here in the Parents Lounge, having a cocktail on a Thursday. It's Thursday night, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I've lost all concept of space and time.
I was watching a friend of ours, Justin McKinney, who's done the show. He had some clip up earlier, and he was talking to all the 20-something people, and he goes, "You're not going to believe this, but one day when you're old, the best part of your day is going to be going to bed." And I was like, "Yeah,
I'm there. I'm to that place."
Dude, I'm always there. Sometimes it's like 7:30, and I'm like, "Can I wrap? Can I wrap this?" It's like a show, like a shooting a film, and I'm like, "And cut." Got what we needed for today. That's a wrap. We'll pick it up in the morning, people. Back to one.
So funny.
We just got back. We did spring break. Literally, my kids had off from a Wednesday through the following week. Oh, Thomas, the dastardly duo. Justin Ruppel will be in a few minutes. Our producer Taylor's coming in. My kids had... Brandon's here. Narcolepsy. Dude, I love you guys. You know, it's funny. Annette, everybody's, hey, what's happening? It's so funny. This warms my heart. Because we hadn't done it in a couple weeks. And I got to tell you, it felt pretty good not to like have the responsibility of it. And
I mean, we did almost straight shows for 3.5 years.
I know. And each week it would be I would be like, oh, I don't think I can do it. And then invariably by the end of the show, it was like a shot of adrenaline where I was like, oh, now I feel a lot better. Because it is, we always talk about it takes a village, and it's about commiserating. And because I'm staying home watching kids, I used to get that therapy by getting on stage 6 nights a week. Freddie B shows up. Oh, Freddie, I love it. Hey, fellas, stopping by real quick before I go walk the dogs, and then I'll be back in here. Oh, just let them out. They'll go walk themselves, man. It's the desert. What can happen out there? So was there a spring break regret or Disney PTSD moment? You want to start with Disney? I mean, by the way, Jason had an amazing trip. If you want to see something that will warm your cockles, watch Minnie Mouse taking care of his twins. It's pretty amazing.
So I don't have a PTSD moment with Disney. Disney was pretty magical for us. I did for those of you who don't know, I did some stand-up shows down there, which were at the Bonkers Comedy Club. Was awesome. Was great to perform there. Completely out of my element. Like I had never done like a city by myself before. I've always had the Kaler or Ruppel crutch. And so it was kind of a new experience for me. So it was a lot of fun. Full house each night. It was great. And I got to take my kids with me. And because my kids are autistic, we kind of had a talk where we discussed with Disney, we were worried about what it would be like for our kids waiting in line, because it's just not something functionally they can really do very well. And so we called Disney to talk about it, and Disney said, "Are you aware of our Disney?" Yes.
No, I'm talking to Carlos. Carlos, we just got one of our guests popped up in the green room. Go ahead. No, you go.
Okay. So they have a disability access services at Disney, which is for kids who are disabled, and family members who are disabled. And they hooked us up with this program, but the cast members who work at that park went above and beyond. Logan said his first 2-word sentence, or 3-word sentence. He said, "Hey, it's Woody from Toy Story." Like he yelled out, "Hey, it's Woody." And like, then I'm crying like, oh my God, he just said it. Like, it was just, I got to actually, our guest who's about to pop in, I actually got to hear him in one of the attractions, because he does a voice at the park.
I mean, he could. I'm sorry I dropped his name because I didn't want to blow it. But as soon as you were telling the story and he popped up, I was like, oh man, that guy's got.
He's kind of been here for all of my kids' big moments, so I feel like we should bring him in.
By the way, the Disney program, who knew? I didn't know they had something like that with disabilities.
We didn't know it was a thing. So here's the thing. So it's a lot of people feel like it's line jumping, but really you wait whatever the wait time is for the attraction, but you don't have to stand in the line. You come back after waiting that time. So your kids aren't in the attraction,
right,
like going stir crazy. So they're out getting drinks and like enjoying the outside of the world. And it worked so well. Disney really did treat my kids like gold. It was every moment was magical. There was a Minnie Mouse in Hollywood Studios who went above and beyond for those kids. She was playing ball. She was like playing peekaboo. Like, she just kept coming back to our kids. And I got some of it on video. She was just outstanding. I could not.
It's amazing. And one of our biggest fans, Brandon, deals with animation as well. So he's this guy's biggest fan. Let's bring him right in. Please welcome, honestly, I mean, one of the handful of biggest voiceover actors that's ever existed, I believe. Check his credit list at some point. He's also
serious. The longest reoccurring person on this show besides
he's my favorite. He's my favorite. I mean, is there anybody who makes me happier? Please welcome Carlos Alasraqui.
I'm local and I have a mic today, so let me move it over this way so that I can stay in camera. Hey, everybody. And Jason, your impressions were excellent. I saw them on TikTok, and I said,
thank you.
Your mic is getting really good. I better watch myself. There could be a twin brother. It could be Ike. It's me, Mike, and my twin brother, Ike. Yeah,
I'm working on it. I'm not at your level, but I am trying.
You'll get it. You just have to watch. Forget about Paris. Forget Paris or whatever 55 million times like I did. But I'm glad you got to go on the monster scare floor, the monster laugh floor.
It's funny because like I can pick you out and I out of the voice. I've spent enough time with you now where I can hear it. I'm like, that's Carlos.
Yeah, that was one of my first Mike Wazowski jobs ever. And so when I went in 2018 to finally go on that ride, I went, okay, some things are all right. Some things are a little bit, little bit leaves. I got better since then, but
You
it was pretty
judged.
cool.
Oh, you judged your own work harshly.
Oh yeah, when I was there, I couldn't enjoy the ride. I was just like, that one's off. That one's
Well,
okay. That one's
it's
good.
tricky when it's an impression. I mean,
Yeah.
you do so many original voices. You don't
Yeah.
judge those the same way, do you?
No, only if they're like remakes or whatever. Sometimes, in a session you felt like even if I was doing Crocker or something, I'm like, God, my Crocker's off today. Something like even Butch would go, what, let's play a reference. And like, I got to play a reference after 20 years. And yeah, sometimes you get mixed up, So, but, I'm glad that, enough about what I do, but, I'm so glad that
No.
Disney.
Honestly, because of what you do, let's just keep it going, and we'll bring in one of the other biggest impressionists that we know, and our partner from the show, The Parents Lounge, and our producer, Justin Ruppel and Taylor Sokol are here. Can everybody climb in? Yes.
Hi guys.
Yeah, Justin, your work is
Hi.
fantastic
Oh,
on TikTok. It's amazing.
Can we just stop the podcast real quick and mark the time in which Rocco told me that I'm good at my job? I'm gonna die now, and we can just.
better, Heather, than Justin. Justin Ruppel.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Recording because the first one's for free.
You know what I love? And when we did, here's what's funny. I've done stand-up shows with all of you guys. And one of my favorite things, especially about Justin, is that when Justin does a lot of his act is he teaches the audience how to do the impressions and how to get from one person's voice to the other person's voice.
Right. It's Carlos. You can attest to this. I mean, there's a lot of range, but
sure.
After doing so much, you're like, uh-oh, I can feel that this is part this and part this.
Yeah. There are a lot of hybrids that occur from that phenomenon.
Right. And I think my need to explain it came out of a insecurity in a show one day where I was just like, look, I understand that this sounds a lot like this. That's because that's how I got it. This plus this equals this. And and
I'm always amazed when I can see it's like it's honestly like Bob Ross explaining painting. And it makes us honestly think like, oh, then I can do that. And then you try and you're like, wait, I can't do that.
Yeah, I learned very recently that for Exploding Kittens, it's coming out soon, that I did a voice of an animatronic rat. And you know the story. It's Ed Orgeron, the LSU football coach. We play good. We play 4 quarters of football. I love Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's going to get us the victory. And I did the thing in the second quarter. We're going to be better. And we're going to win this game. Go Tigers. And then as I started to go back, it sounds a lot like Red Fox. Is it the same?
It does.
I heard it before you even said it. That's Red Fox.
Yeah, the things that dance around in the same neighborhood. I'm always jealous of. And hello, Taylor. I didn't mean to exclude you from our discussion, but
no, it's an honor to meet you, Carlos. Part of my childhood right here, so this is
Thank
fantastic.
You.
So
Taylor's come on as part of the team, Carlos, and he's helping us produce the whole thing. And the beauty is, Taylor, when are you due?
Oh yes, so I'm due in 1 month. First-time father.
So not to jump off of the impressionist
your life
thing.
Is over.
Your life is over. Again.
Oh dear, Carlos. Oh, the nanny's gonna be here for you, dear.
Yeah, you may as well go jump off a bridge.
Oh, certainly, dear. I've got my bags packed, dear, and I've got a parachute ready for the jump.
That's a great downfire, and your downfire as well. Jason's really good, but
thank you, dear. I'm so good.
Oh my God!
Good.
Oh, that's awesome.
So good.
This is why I come to work every day.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, parents, because I'll bring it back to what Jamie was talking about. All of these voices and all this stuff was just mimicry of somebody else we looked up to. As parents, do or have you ever heard your kids or your nephews or do an impression of you, or can you see your mannerisms come out of them?
They've done it, but I'm always the fool. Like my daughters wanted to show my wife and I what we look like at night when something happens in the room. Mom, this is you. What are you doing? What did I tell you? And I'm laughing, and they go, and Dad, this is you. What's going on? What happened? What am I doing? I'm like, really? I'm the dumb guy. I'm the sitcom dumb dad to you, but only in jest. But yeah, there's mannerisms, especially when Riley rages, like Dad rages. I go, oh, there's me, but it's never. I don't. Yeah, their ability to mimic because their grandma, who's not as verbal anymore. My mom from Argentina. We have Giacomo from Peru, and they can imitate Giacomo. So they're getting exposed to a lot of sounds, and they're able to pick it up from time to time for sure.
They can definitely hurt you. My daughter does. She does this. This is her face of me. She goes. She does my face. I'm gonna bring her on to get pictures. Anytime we sit there, I go, Hannah, do me, and she goes like that. And then she sounds like me,
like a messed up Jim Halpert.
She's like, hey, she just looks like that. And then she does her mother. She just picks up a phone and just scrolls the phone.
No.
And then she looks up and goes, I'm sorry, what? And then she goes back down to her phone. It's pretty like honestly, it hurts. It really hurts.
Wow.
I never show it. I never show that it hurts. I go, that's very funny. It's very, and so when you're on SNL one day, I'm coming, but until then, jackass.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Can we talk about
my 8-year-old's attacks have become very personal. He asked if I grew a goatee to hide my 4th and 5th chin, which I did not enjoy.
That's true. I remember when I heard him say something.
You remember he said that to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, my daughter, Hannah went after you when you were out here, Jason. She called you a toothbrush with a sticky bottom for some reason.
To this day, she calls me toothbrush. We don't know where it came from. I mean,
it feels like it should hurt though.
My daughter Riley did attack me really good. She nailed me because I tend to, I'm sure like anybody who does voices, I'm always going to lean more towards somebody that's a stronger voice because I'm California neutral. What's up? You know, my friend Henry Cho from around Henry from Knoxville, Tennessee. So we're at a rope swing. It's called limestone rope swing in freaking Chandler or whatever. And the guy's Latino. And I'm like, hey, yeah, my daughter and I are getting off, man. So, like, are you a Laker fan? And my daughter's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I felt so right that all of a sudden I had to, like, Laker, Clipper, like the rope swing's yours, bro. My daughter's like, what are you doing, Dad? You're white. What's wrong with you? I'm like, yeah, you're right. I did.
Oh, my God.
Like, I fell into it because, like, he's browner than me and I'm white. I'm neutral.
Hey, Carlos, when you first moved here, didn't your agent tell you to change your name to like Charles or something or other?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Charlie Rock or something, or
Charlie Allen, stuff like that. Get anglicized because it's too confusing.
You know, it's funny. Nowadays, my agents told me to change my name to Jaime. I'm going to be Jaime Keller. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, German Argentinian, just like
me. My only shot of working.
German Argentinian.
That's a good combination.
Well, I believe German and Argentina. I believe there's. I believe they did blend a little bit after World War II secretly. I believe there was a secret blending.
They don't mention that migration pattern.
I saw the boys from. I think it was Brazil. Maybe I'm not sure.
Boys from Brazil. Yeah, they went on Argentina as well. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Taylor this past weekend went on a baby moon.
That's right.
Oh my!
Yes. I've heard of the baby moon. You were the first person I know personally to go on.
Know what it is?
Well, what is that? Yeah.
Explain it, sir.
Yes. So I heard about this. Basically, it's a last big kind of little trip, hurrah, before the baby gets here.
Okay, I get it. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not as fun when the wife, can't drink for obvious reasons, but it was really nice. It was just a little place. We live about 30 minutes north of Pittsburgh. So it's in a place called Bedford, PA, and it's like 2 hours away in this little town. And we stayed or visited this resort, Bedford Springs, which has been there since the days of Abraham Lincoln. Yeah, I know. I was like, it's like, building alone. So, but it was really nice. It was just nice little getaway, relaxing just before our nights and days start blending
You're a
together.
mean old man, Mr. Potter. Sorry, I can't help it. I got in.
Sentimental hogwash.
Zazu, pedals. I can't. I haven't seen that movie in 20 years either, and it's still like.
Bart Ernie, you were here.
I'm gonna rope the moon for you, Mary. I'm gonna rope.
You want me to tie a rope around it for you?
Yeah, Mr. Gower, don't you know me?
Why don't you kiss her instead of talking her to death? How's
Yeah.
that? I said, why don't you kiss her instead of talking her to death?
Hey, you want me to kiss her? Huh? Hey, come back here. I'll kiss her so hard, put hair back on your head.
You just wasted on the young.
Anyone under 40 right now is like, I don't know what this
Look,
podcast
Matt, we
is
do
about.
hard liquor here to get men drunk fast.
Look at me. I'm giving angels. I'm giving angels their wings. Sheldon Leonard. I love that guy.
Oh,
By the way, I
don't understand the baby moon, by the way. I mean, was she?
Idea.
No, she's 8. Is she 8 months pregnant?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's 8 months pregnant. You know what? Does she want to travel? Like sit in the car for a long drive?
Jamie, I want you to think about every trip you've taken in the first 3 years of your children's life, and tell me that even a pregnant wife, that would be better than traveling with children.
Yeah,
but you shouldn't travel at all. It should just be like separate.
Because at that point, the baby's carry on.
Yeah. And
well,
I mean,
it was under 2-hour drive, so it wasn't too bad. And normally a long trip, she has a small bladder. Now imagine with baby, it's like several times, but it was not bad. Like
by the way, that's never going to change for the rest of your life.
We wanted to go to DC to see the cherry blossoms, but that was like too far, and this was perfect. We were able to get a quick little weekend away, and we loved it.
What are you living in the 1880s? We should go down and look at the cherry blossoms.
Yeah. Come on, Mary.
My pregnant wife to Georgetown.
I'll have myself a sarsaparilla and then we'll look at the cherry blossoms.
I mean, I just wonder how the whole vacation goes. Because the vacation is you're with an 8-month pregnant woman. The one good thing is she can drive, so you can get shattered. If it were me, I would just be
And she
hammered.
still loves to eat, so that works out. And
she eats.
It was fun.
It's not like you're going away for a crazy, weekend.
No, we very tame. We went antiquing and did a ghost tour and just had really good food and listened to some good live music. So it was pretty good.
So it's not so much a baby moon; it's really just a prelude
to
your
crap.
retirement. Yeah. It's basically like saying, "Hey, what are our empty nest years going to be like?"
Yeah, it's just like Bill Murray. Like, let's live here.
Brought to you by Werther's Originals.
It's your Green Mile trip. Before it all ends.
Speaking of not being able to pee. So hey, big news today. Everyone saw big news. Orenthal James, the juice.
Galileo High School, San Francisco.
Hey, can I?
That's right.
Yeah, can I do my 2 jokes I prepared as Norm Macdonald for today?
Yes, please. Yeah, I saw one of them and it's pretty good. So hit it. But by the way, let me preface this by saying, for those of you who don't know, Norm Macdonald went out of his way to do OJ jokes to the point where the head of NBC and Saturday Night Live said, do not do any more OJ jokes about murder or we're going to fire you. And he goes, yeah. And then he kept doing them to the point where he got fired. They fired him for doing the jokes. And he would go on Conan. He would go anywhere and do them. So those of you who don't know, Google Norm Macdonald OJ jokes. There's a lot. They're
going to be way better than what I'm going to do.
No, this one's good though. This is real, and your impression's so spot on.
Because he's not here. Here it is. Well, we got news. OJ Simpson died at the age of 76 of prostate cancer. When asked for comment, prostate cancer said, "We finally found the real killer."
Nice.
O.J. Simpson, Orenthal James Simpson, dead today, famous for beating murder charges against Ron Goldman and his wife, Nicole Brown Simpson. Turns out the only thing he couldn't beat, death. That's it. You have to stare at you have to.
Yeah.
You have to hold
I remember some of those SNL ones. Even I was like, wow, good for you, dude.
That's my lucky stabbing cap.
It is funny. I mean, for those of you, I had moved here 6 months beforehand, and I was working at the Crocodile Cafe in Santa Monica as the white Bronco went by.
Whoa!
I don't know if
Did
you
you
remember the
actually see
giant.
it?
I was at
They were on the
Comedy Express in
PCH. They went right
Montclair.
by the bottom of us, and people were like running out to cheer him on. And
Carlos, where were you? You said
the Knicks
Comedy
game
Express
was
in
on.
Montclair.
Were you really? Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, an old tube television in the green room, and we were all watching, and like, are we gonna do a show
They
tonight?
cut into the Knicks game for it, right? The Knicks
Wow.
playoff game was on with John Starks, and a lot of people don't know David Hasselhoff had a pay-per-view that night for a giant concert that nobody paid for because everybody was watching. Like, there was no social media.
No.
People who are watching this cannot fathom what was happening. It was on every
It was our
TV.
War of the Worlds, you know.
It was our war. It was crazy
Yeah.
how, and the murder scene in Brentwood was like blocks from where I lived. Like the whole thing was so Santa Monica that you would drive by, and within days they like changed the front of the building and moved the condo and changed the hedges and stuff. It was, and that restaurant was gone like overnight that he worked at. Like the whole thing was so
And where were you when the murders took place,
crazy.
Jamie?
Yeah.
So I was just
he had a friend named Cato.
It's so funny that the evidence is so overwhelming, and yet they were like, well, that cop's racist, and everyone's like, honestly, I feel like that in a way was reparations. Like that was, people are going to light me up for this, but people were like, we don't care. Everyone knew he was guilty.
Sure.
Well, here's what I think happened. I think, and you're right to say reparations, because I think we as a culture there has been a lot of white dudes that were just kind of like smiling and nice and got away with it. And we can all admit OJ was smiling and nice and funny. And like, we all
loved him. We loved, dude, Naked Gun hurts. The whole thing. We loved him. Capricorn 1. I loved OJ Simpson.
Because of that, we as a culture kind of went, we can't look away from the systemic atrocities that other people have gotten from this justice system. And like, okay, like, have you ever heard who Griffith is at Griffith Park? Oh my God.
My guess, he's a white supremacist.
Dude, the guy shot his wife in the face.
Yeah.
Shot his wife in the face.
That's right.
Killed her and was like, so I don't go to prison. I donate this land, and you can just have this beautiful land where the Griffith Observatory and Griffith Park and all that stuff is. And he's like, and I go to prison? And they're like, oh,
from here you can observe the spot where Mr. Griffith shot his wife in the face.
You know what's funny? So I think like it was very black versus white at the time. But I think in reality, it's the same story that's been throughout time. It's green versus non-green. It's money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was rich. That place in Brentwood, at the end of the day, it's about everything. The answer to every question.
About money,
it's money. It's because Johnny Cochran, it's Kardashian, dude. It's Kim Kardashian's dad. The whole thing's so crazy.
Oh, that's right.
Robert
Rock nailed it. But I understand, his joke. Yeah, his joke about riding around in his Ferrari at his house. Now, I ain't saying I would have killed her, but I understand was his old that's why he won that award.
I hope he donated his brain, because I think you're gonna find CTE. Absolutely.
Oh,
dude, the number of hits he took at Buffalo, that dude ran. You know how you get 1,000 yards every season back in those days? You got your head ripped off every single run. So I'd be shocked.
And those helmets were those pumpkin pails from Halloween.
Exactly. They were like the McDonald's.
Exactly. What are we gonna do with this extra plastic?
I unleashed on my daughter this morning because she and her sister got into it. Unleashed, and I didn't play in the NFL for numerous years. I just think part of you felt bad in a way. I was just this weird emotional thing. But I will tell you, so after the trial and he was acquitted, Casa Escobar. It was on Wilshire it was right by Sonny's, and it was right by O'Brien's on Wilshire and 18th. It was this Mexican restaurant. And I went in maybe 3 months after the trial was over and he was acquitted. And in the corner booth was O.J. Simpson with a Nicole Brown lookalike.
Yeah.
Did you know that? His girlfriends after were you're like, wait, is that Nicole? And it was not Nicole. And it was a girl.
Strangers in the house.
What girl would go out with him? What? It's like when the Menendez brothers get wedding. Like any girl who offers to marry a dude on death row, you're like, something's really off here.
Yeah, apparently there's a woman on Twitter. The NDA is no longer applicable, so she's talking about cases at USC where Kardashian came on campus to have a meeting with the dean about OJ and about that behavior of assaulting, and they're just like, listen, he's a good football player for USC, and the revered Coach Osborne at Nebraska, when Lawrence Phillips dragged his girlfriend down the stairs, said, "It's okay, buddy, you can play in the big game." So. That money starts very early on. Money and power starts at the university level. They let it go. They get Aaron Hernandez had his troubles and mental illness and was hiding his true lifestyle and all that stuff was going on under Urban Meyer. If you're good at football, if you produce money for an entity, you're going to be allowed to get away with a lot. So it preceded his fame in Hollywood. It preceded his fame in the National Football League.
It still shows me
Sadly, I will get away with nothing.
Yeah.
It shows you how illogical we are as humans. We look to these, this guy's a great athlete. Like Steph Curry pitching crypto. That's where you're like, oh, that guy's really good at basketball. He must know crypto. You know what? I'm going to invest in crypto. Tom Brady pitching crypto. Matt Damon pitching crypto. But we don't listen to anyone who's educated, somebody who's done some research and maybe has a master's degree. It's like, no, that guy can really shoot the three. You know what? I think I'm going to invest in crypto. That's the mindset we have where we listen to these. Jared from Subway
sandwich. I know somebody does better Barkley than me, but
I can't eat
that Subway all the time.
I used to do a
I
joke
don't even
about.
know I was doing it. Yeah,
I ain't terrible.
I used to do a joke about Jared from Subway. We followed Jared from Subway. He was our role model for many years. And the joke goes, it's like, what did he do? He lost 100 pounds. You know what I didn't do? Gain 100 pounds in the first place, you fat bastard Jared. Just because you finally figured out to stop eating like a douche, now you get millions of dollars. What about the guy who never gained weight? Isn't a gambling addict, not a junkie. Why doesn't that dude who lives down the street? Why doesn't he have an ad? He's like, hey, man, my name's Mike. You don't know me. I install carpet. I eat at Subway every now and then. I don't eat there every day because I'm not a crazy person. But, on occasion.
Why not go get authentic Mexican street tacos in Boyle Heights? Why should you when you could get it at Taco Bell?
Yeah.
People were going to Taco Bell. It was a joking dog. He doesn't eat taco. He eats dog food.
Will we ever see the Taco Bell Chihuahua back, or
Hell
is he done?
No.
Hell no. That's done.
Bro.
Not in
That's
that
a shame.
context. No.
I still don't understand
just
why
like
that's
that dog.
not why that I think we should embrace culture as opposed to trying to homogenize everybody into one standard thing.
Well,
Sure.
We should be different. People still pick on the Irish, for drunk and
Paddy wagons. They
Afrikaans
still call
stuff.
them paddy wagons.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's a paddy wagon. That's absolutely true.
I had this conversation with Taylor the other day, but this is a hard concept for a lot of people because it just requires a little bit more thinking, which is to say an accent has nothing to do with race. And if you think it does, that shows your ignorance and possibly your slip of racism is showing, because a baby born in a group of people who speak a language and then learns another language is going to have an accent no matter the color of their skin. Doesn't matter what it is. An accent is what your natural speaking voice adapts to based on who's around you. So, yes, you could have a little Asian boy sound like he's, from Mississippi.
Henry
you could
Jones,
have
Knoxville, Tennessee.
That's
exactly.
Right. He does
exactly.
Henry Cho from Nashville all the time. He's like, hey, man.
Knoxville. Go Vols.
Dude, exactly. And when you hear it, you're like, wait, when you see him the first time, you're like, is he putting on it? No, that's who he is. So
yeah.
to say, yeah.
But even in the context of the Taco Bell, because before woke was woke, I got a lot of heat from it. You know, I'm not Mexican and my parents are from Argentina, yada, yada. But I always said it was about the intent of the commercial. The dog was cool. The dog wasn't saying, I want to steal your chips. I'm not going to pay for this food. He was just like, what is a logarithm? The character itself was just cool. And so there was half and half, but it's always about content and about intent. So doing an accent, as you say, Jason, is not per se bad. It's how you use it in the context you use it. Like if you're like, I'm Irish and I'm going to be getting drunk. I'm going to get drunk tonight. It's St. Patty's Day. Help me eat my Lucky Charms and potatoes.
You know what's funny? You hear people and they'll make fun of immigrants who speak with an accent, right? With a very thick accent, whether it's Mexican or whatever.
Russian.
And I'm like, hey, by the way, that dude with the accent, he speaks 2 languages. How many do you speak again? And you're like, well, I speak American. Yeah, that's it. Like that dude, this is his second language. Pretty great, right? You know,
job.
Put into context that Spanish is a white European language.
That's right.
And it is language like French, like Italian, and it comes from Europe. But the fact that brown people speak it at the expense of white people not being able to understand and feeling insecure about it, it gets put into, hey man, speak the language. But if they were to ever go to Europe and like, well, it started here. You know, and there I go making making fun of people who have a Southern accent. I love Corey Forrester, and I love what's his name? He's so brilliant. The liberal redneck. Oh my gosh, he's so good. Why am I blanking? But both those guys are Get it. He's actually like it's got a master's degree.
The Raging Cajun.
Yeah, all of them, man. But so we can. Yeah, it's always about content and intent rather, and context. So we ought to be allowed, as you say, Jamie, to explore our cultures. And I kind of agree with Gervais to some extent. You can't go through your life feeling entitled that you can't be offended by anything. That's just not going to be possible. So, you know, we kind of meet in the middle a little bit. You know, have some sensitivity, but also like let's have a laugh. I think I heard a commercial with Bobby Slayton. And Bobby Slayton.
Oh my gosh! Finally,
you got to be a Jew. There's nothing that's going to turn a man gay faster than a Jewish wife. Where were you last night? What do you think? That's it. I'm sucking cock.
Bobby Slayton.
Fucking perfect. Bobby
He used to do I don't even know. I don't know if I can do it and get away with it. He used to do the guy at the Chinese restaurant.
Oh yeah.
Who just agreed with whatever he goes. You want? I don't sound like.
You want Sichuan?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, I don't know. What are the crayons in there?
Crayons. Yes, crayons.
Crayon.
He goes, yes, the crayons. Whole thing. You get whole thing. Yes, crayon.
We got a Chinese barbershop. They got all the pictures of haircuts. We got this one. We got this one. We got mole. Yeah, he's a dinosaur, you know. And
dude, and he's still doing it though. But
he is one of my favorite comics. If you haven't seen Bobby Slayton live, you have missed out.
The Bulldog.
Yeah, he's a monster.
Pitbull, sorry, Pitbull. Thank you. I apologize. The Pitbull. But here's what I will say. People like him are a victim of he was never supposed to be outside the comedy club. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You were supposed to opt in to seeing him at the club or maybe opt in to buying his album. Okay.
Yes.
Because we all know that's a special time and place. We're going to laugh at this and it's going to be a special time when you laugh at Bobby. It's not the stuff you want to say in front of everybody. Yeah. But what happened is the whole world got very aware of everything that's happening all the time. Right. And you're like, that recording existed from that show at night in those people who consented to be there. But now I get to hear it outside that little context, and I'm like, of course you're offended because it's 7 in the morning.
And we were talking about that too before, Justin and I, like when he was talking about doing his shows, there's a different experience from me being there and experience that to me listening to it after and again and not hearing that. And like you said, Carlos, it's the intent, but it's also how are you going to perceive it? If you're going to perceive it negatively, then it's going to be that way.
And I can relate it to a parental story where my daughter Austin loves anime. She's 10. She's already menstruating. She started menstruating at 9, very early. She's 5'4". She's the tallest one in 4th grade.
At 9?
She has a body.
5, wow.
She has her body now that's almost, it's developed. And so in class, she was drawing pictures of women with big boobs, and the teacher got a hold of it because the kids were passing it around, and she got in trouble, and they had to talk to us. And we said, yeah, we're okay as parents of her drawing that. That's what's on her mind. We're not okay with her interrupting class. If she's doing it for the purpose of interrupting class, that's another thing. But what she drew, we got no problem with it. That's what's in her head. So
it's also that art form. I mean, that's the style in that space.
Yeah, that's the style in anime. You know, she sees the anime drawings where they draw them with the big hips and that in her own mind psychologically, she's like, this is my body. I don't like these things on my body, and so she's drawing them. And so we're like, we're fine. We're fine. We're not. I'm aghast. How could my child? It's like, get out of here.
I'm still amazed how prudish it's really funny that the more we learn about outer space and how infinite it is, and these things pop about like the giant millions and jillions and quadrillions of solar systems, and yet we're getting more and more puritanical because we're so terrified that we're like just lost in space.
Yes.
And it's crazy to me that we're animals. Like, this is our body. And I remember being super prudish about my body when I was younger. It's so funny when you get to be an old man, you're like, whatever. People just walk around. People don't care anymore because you're close to death.
See Haley's comment than my man titties any day.
Yeah, exactly. So it's so funny that we are so still prudish about, like, you know, I kind of like the French way of like, it's just the body. Who gives a crap? But over here we're not like that. We're still so crazy.
Do you think it's just our birth in our little culture here in the United States of being birthed of the Puritans?
Yes,
you know,
sure. I think
because as you said, Jamie, when you get older, you don't. And France, old culture.
We're still such a young country. That's the thing.
I do think we're a young country, and we were formed in a you know, we were had we lost the war, we were terrorists. We would have all been killed. And so,
oh my God, right.
Terrorists run that way.
It was a group of terrorists. They all would have been hung, but they won, and that's the difference. You won the war, and
with the help from the French.
That's right.
Yep.
That's
right.
Without the French, we wouldn't have won.
And
that's
Spain, right?
What's this there guerrilla war you do?
Yeah,
with some of that hiding and bushes.
Dude, man, if you watch Manhunt right now on Apple.
Why don't you hide in the bushes and see how that works out for you?
Does he have dog bites? That is not my dog.
Hey, Frenchie, I like your style.
Just because they are lined up does not mean you have to play along.
Hey, as a parent,
you're not a bowling pin. You can move.
Now drop your pants, says JJ.
Do you want to be a 7-10 split, or do you want to win the war? It's up to you.
As a parent, can I bring up a subject that happened this week that I am happy about, but that is going to be a little touch and go? You guys okay with
It's the name of the show.
Here we go.
It's the Parents Lounge, and as parents, the Crumbly parents are going to jail for 15 years.
Good.
I am very happy about it.
Yeah, of course.
That someone has been held accountable.
Years. Thank God.
And that's a very outlier case. So if you're, a gun out, like, listen, I'm former military. I know a million people with guns who are very safe and careful with guns and stuff. And it's just a reminder they're not toys, man. And they need to be. And all of a sudden, I don't think they treated it with the kind of seriousness it needed to be treated.
Wasn't she horseback riding or something?
Yeah, and they bought him the gun, and then the school said, "Hey, he's got crazy drawings. Come pick him up." And they're like, "Nah, he's fine. Let him finish the day." And you're like, "I picked up my kid because she lied about an earache.
It'll be fine."
My kid lied about an earache, and I was like, it's all right. I'll take her home, make her some mac and cheese, and let her watch TV. They were like, he's talking about killing people, and they were like, "Nah, let him finish social studies this afternoon." I mean,
we bought him a gun last week.
And they didn't lock the gun up. That's the other thing about gun responsibility. Like I always said, you shouldn't call it gun control. It should be gun responsibility. And when you buy this thing, and I think having a child is having a weapon. Like you've created this human that can do anything, and that you've created a weapon, and you have to be somewhat responsible. Like if the kid's 35, I get it. You're not Ted Kaczynski's. We're not going to hold Ted Kaczynski's parents responsible for the dude living out there. But when the kid's 13 years old, you are responsible for that child, and you have to take control.
Lock it up. Take him to the firing range.
A quote from Jurassic Park: "They're lethal at 9 months."
They are. There's a clever girl.
That should be the That's the T-shirt from this week. They're lethal at 9 months.
At 9 months.
Yeah.
Here's this is kind of a twofer, but by putting the parents on the responsibility chain for their children messing up, and not just messing up, they did the messing up for them. They gave them the opportunity. They gave them the weapons.
Yeah.
I think this is a precedent from which we will see less teen shooters because of this. In the same way that if we put a much harsher penalty on employers instead of the people coming over the border, you'd be like, hey, are you employing somebody illegally? If there was people going, hey, we're going to punish the employer knowingly paying under the table to people who they know aren't, then you'd see a lot of the stop just the same way, because
those are the people passing the laws. Those are the people who are hiring. I know. Therein lies the problem. Again, it's about money.
Therein lies the rub here, is that more guns are good business. They're very, but by putting the responsibility back on great business and all, but if your kid's shooting up schools.
Say you have a party and you supply the alcohol for your teen kids, and your kid gets super drunk, drives out and smashes it into somebody. You're held, as a bartender, we were held accountable.
You're held responsible, right?
If we overserve somebody, the police could come in and fine you, or even worse, like you could be held accountable for overserving somebody. So there has to be some responsibility as a parent for what your children are doing.
Absolutely.
Be a better parent, or don't have kids. That's a problem too, because now they're making it so you have to have kids. They're like, no, you're having kids.
Yeah.
But at least now they're like, it's so.
I couldn't agree with you more.
So
that is the key. It's if
anybody can have kids, not everyone can be parents. That's
that's Keanu Reeves in Parenthood.
Oh,
he has to get a license to go fishing. He's got a license to drive a car. But any old asshole can be a parent.
Whoa.
My dad used to wake me up and flick a cigarette on me.
That's a deep pull, Carlos. That's nice.
Yeah. That's a great movie, but it is. I went out when we were talking about gun responsibility. My father-in-law is very big into guns, very big into safety. And I always thought that as a parent, I'm not a gun guy, but if my daughters are going to fire a weapon, I'd like it to be before college. So I told my wife, I would love to have your father take Riley and Austin out to a firing range, show them the weapon, show them safety, have them fire it, teach them about guns and educate them. So I always joke, like the first time they see a gun is in that college at a sorority party. Let me by me. Nope, run. Get out.
I know a ton of people, and they're super responsible. And some of these guys have serious weaponry, but they are very responsible people who, it's part of their culture and stuff. But it's the woman who has the gun in Walmart that the 2-year-old pulls out and shoots off and kills the mother, which has happened. I keep reading in the news where you're like, are you not locking these things up? Like, it's crazy to me that people are.
Well, after I met our youngest child, I removed all guns from the home entirely because I think he would have shot me right on sight.
Oh, wow. For your man titties. I hate those.
Funny.
He was just
right,
going to get rid of some.
Let's jump to spring break, Carlos. How was our spring break was literally 13 days of like.
We had a great one. We were divided. My daughter went on a school trip with Dolores Huerta to DC, Williamsburg, Philadelphia, and somewhere else, New York. And the first day she left off the bus, she had strep throat. So my wife was on the phone while we were at Flying Flags down near Santa Barbara trying to get her to urgent care. And then we had to cut our Flying Flags trip short because the other one got sick and got a virus. So We managed to squeeze in a couple of days of fun while my wife was juggling of trying to get my daughter cured of her strep throat on her trip to the East Coast. So, all in all, we're white, we're healthy, we're lucky.
Yes.
You guys always make
First world
parenthood.
problems is what I'm trying to say. I mean,
You guys
we're
always make
Latino.
parenting sound so fun. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
I mean,
not
it has
really.
its moments.
It has its moments, but the day's 24 hours long, and it literally has its moments. So,
How was your spring breaks, everybody?
it's
I'll go last.
I feel like there's something about this generation where every moment has to be accounted for, or they're at a loss. They're like, it's almost like they need a full-time schedule. And like, we had one day where Hannah just didn't have anything to do, and she was like losing her mind. I said, go do something in your room. And she's like, I want my iPad. I go, I'm not giving you the iPad. And all of a sudden, then it wrecks my day because it's like she's like, I'm going to torture you until you give me the goddamn iPad.
Until you give it, yeah.
Thankfully, I've been trained prior because I was a cruise director. So building itineraries has been my career.
You're Julie
so.
from that's right.
Yeah.
I forget. Tell everyone really quick that what you did. That was really funny.
Oh yeah, no. Before that's how I met everyone here. As Justin, I was a cruise director.
That was my major in college, recreation administration.
Good hospitality. Yeah, it was when I went to school, it was resort recreational management / tourism, business minor, and so I was Julie on the cruises, but
that's not the yeoman purser though, right?
What?
That's Gopher.
That's different than the yeoman purser. You're cruise director.
Yeah.
So you set up itineraries for people.
Yeah. So I was in charge of hosting activities, and then I would be doing game shows, morning announcements, and then also hosting the shows where that's how I met Justin here, introducing him and the other acts on the main stage. And so I was kind of a little stand up myself. I had to, but Holiday America's a little strict. They're like, no cruise shippy jokes. You have to go quick. So I had to get sneak one line or two. And then I'm like, all right, I'm off. So that was my career about 6 years.
I'm interested to watch to see how this skill set plays out as your child enters our world. Like I'm
very curious.
I was just laughing because I said to my wife, I think my son, I'm having a son, is going to be confused because all my impressions and voices I do, he's like, he doesn't know what his dad sounds like because I'm always doing different characters because my son, we're calling our son Sawyer. That's going to be his name. And when we thought of that name, I kept thinking of an old 1930s airman. So I'm like, come on there, Sawyer. How you doing there, boy? I get the paper. And so I don't know why I've kept talking to him like that in the womb. And so
that's what you're gonna Hello.
Hello there, boy. Come on.
Your son's gonna be 4 months old. Say, let's go on the deck and play some shuffleboard. And after that, we'll do some ski shooting.
Make sure you bundle up there. It'll be a great time there.
Well, you'll be good at it then because there is a dilemma. Like the kids are almost like looking to you like, what do we do? And I go, you have a room full of toys. Go do something or I'll throw them all out. I don't know what to tell you. And then my kids are watching TV right now, but it's like during spring break, we traveled for a bunch to Colorado and we all stayed in a hotel room, which was super fun. And, they get up in the morning and they go, can we have the iPad? And you're like, I can either give them the iPad and let them play Roblox or whatever they're playing, or I can suffer for 2 hours. And it just reaches that point where you give them the iPad, but you're like, I'm a terrible parent. But I'm a human. I don't want to suffer. That's this weird dichotomy that you're dealing with. It's super painful.
It's not a fun situation to put yourself in by any means. No.
I will say this to you guys, though. I only as an outside observer, so just take it for the piece of crap opinion it is. I mean, those kids are going to be in front of pads and screens the rest of their life.
Sure.
In the same way, my dad used to make me for like an hour a day sit and type because this is going to be, you're going to type. And then, but it turned out it was, this kind of typing. But I mean, like in a way, denying them too much would be like for them not to be literate in the modern language. Maybe. So
here's the dilemma. What I find is that, like, when I remember being in high school, being like calculators were big, like the TI, whatever, 35.
Texas,
back in my head,
Texas
I was like,
Instrument babies. Yeah.
I was always the corner cutter. So I was like, I wanted to raise my hand and go, why are we even learning math? It's right here. And so
you're not going to have a calculator with you all the time. And
what if you do? Just bring it with you all the time. I know. Now you have it. And so that's basically my kids. I'm surprised they haven't been like, why are we going to school? Like, school's here. I can type in enough to figure out what's happening. And there's a YouTube video of a guy showing me how to build whatever I'm trying to build. So why again am I trying? And I think the problem is they need to learn critical thinking. And so I beat them up about reading. I'm like, which I didn't read until like my late 20s, early 30s. I went back and read all the classics because I felt like an idiot in improv scenes where guys would, quote something and I'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And so I went back and I read like a ton of classics, and I was like, yeah.
I'm gonna say something that might be a little controversial. Maybe, I mean, I don't. If you guys ever did that research or read that book about how we came up with K through 12 schooling was just figuring out how to make the younger generation be better lever pullers. Yes and no, take orders, that kind of stuff. They took it from a curriculum that was about, that's where structured testing get the same answer, not critical thinking. Critical thinking was supposed to be for higher education.
Right.
So the question I have is, nowadays there aren't a lot of jobs for just lever pullers, right? Like just to follow orders, you got to do what you got to do. So my question would then be, hey, maybe now
I'm looking for you at My Pillow. If you want to join, if you're a lever pillow, come on down, pull those levers for me and My Pillow, and I got some great research for you. Sorry.
Well, Jay's a teacher who's commenting here. Jay Check says critical thinking, ideas different from the ones in your home, dealing with people. That's the hard one. I wrote something on my website about empathy. And the problem I think is nowadays, a lot of people never leave their small town. And so they don't, I traveled the world and all of a sudden I saw other cultures. And it gave me a real sense of like, oh my God, we're so crazy lucky.
This is what I was going to say is that, I think it's time to just completely reimagine my lever is my business.
Thank you.
I think it's time to just reimagine K through 12, meaning I think you're right. The skills they need nowadays are not the skills they're not the skills they're teaching. And it should be more adept for the modern age.
Somebody said it earlier. They talked about the fact that, even the anti-abortion thing, I think, again, the answer to everything is money. And so when you say anti-abortion, think about all the children that are born that are then consumers. That's really the key. The key is for quarterly profits to go up every quarter. You need more consumers.
That's right.
Oh my God, there's a documentary out about Brandy Melville. And there's this thing called fast fashion. So it used to be there'd be a summer, a winter, and a fall line. Now it's a weekly line. They're literally putting out disposable clothing that is ending up in Ghana, of all these places, like billions of pounds of clothing where they're like, we don't even know what to do with this stuff because they sell this shirt for $20 that costs $5 because and they only hired like smoking hot, young, 16-year-old white girls who were tall and thin. And then it blew up. And all they did was say, post this on Instagram. And the guy blew up Instagram with it. And then they made $1 jillion. But you think about the 1880s, a dude had a dress shirt he was buried in and a work shirt. Mm-hmm. And that was it. And when the work shirt finally was threadbare, he went and bought a new shirt. We're buying these things that we don't need. It's like air, food, shelter. But we're buying crap because people are telling us we have to do this to feel good about ourselves, and it's dopamine, and it's the same.
Well, I think to kind of quote George Carlin, it's because we got really good at what America does best is sell stuff. And
so it's about consumers. How many consumers can you make, really?
Yeah, we don't make the stuff so much as we are really good at selling it.
True.
So yeah, you're right. That's a very good observation.
How do I get my kids out of that cycle? Because my kid wants a Stanley Cup for $40 from the Stanley mugs.
Oh, the Stanley mugs. Yeah,
that's a thing.
Our daughter's
it is a big thing.
Yeah, we wanted Levi's. We wanted
that.
tough skins when we were kids. Yeah, the pervasiveness of advertising is tenfold, right? Because of the fact they have something that they're staring at constantly, which is spewing everything. At least we had to wait to see Hot Wheels on television, and maybe that was it, right?
I will.
But now it's just 20-fold the amount of items they can see or want.
Just being inundated. That's right.
Yeah.
Carlos nailed
I'm in
it.
the Sephora years right now. I'm, that's how you define how old your daughters are. It's Sephora.
I would argue that it plays on each of our innate sense of trying to belong. Like we want to belong. And so if all of your group of friends have Stanleys and you don't, you feel it. You feel left out. And you need this stupid fucking product that some jackass has made your kids want so badly so that they can be
bad because like we see it with Jace a lot with our 8-year-old. Like if he doesn't have the trendy thing, it affects him.
It affects
deeply.
people.
And
it's depression.
It's a tough road to navigate.
I think I can only tell you this, and this is all I can think to say. Because I see it's got to be so hard. 10-year-old one, yeah.
So Melody says 10-year-old wanting skincare from Sephora, absolutely. And then she says ultimate consumers. It's about fucking money. And as a parent, you're bleeding. We're bleeding money.
But
even
what are we doing? What I'm just noticing is my wife's friend's daughter is around that age as well. It's not even so much if they're watching stuff, but because in school everyone's wearing that,
and then
the problem is that's still always going to be a thing if you're in school. And then also is the issue is you just talk about it at school and that was it. Then you go home and we have all the social media that kids are getting at an early age that they're talking about it, and it's still consuming them when they get home. And that's a scary thing. And that's also where the bullying goes too, which is scary.
I will say this. I've had a lot of insecurities in my life, but one of the insecurities I never grew up with was they have that thing, so I need to have that thing. And the reason I didn't is because my parents used to describe people who craved things as sad. Like they would show someone who would be like tap dancing. I got this new thing, and my parents would be like,
here's Charlie Chaplin, City Lights.
Yeah, they could have.
Yes.
They could have gone on vacation. They could have.
That's what
they could have, and they could have. And then I'd say it like that, and they go, and then ask me another question. Do you think they'll be that happy with that thing next week? And I'd have to go, no. And they go, no, they'll be sad next week. And this beautiful thing, and they showed me, and I'll never forget it, Carlos. You probably worked on this. There was an Animaniacs episode. Did you ever work on Animaniacs?
The new one, not the old one.
Yeah. Okay. There was an Animaniacs episode, and I'm going to try not to cry even describing it. It was an episode, I believe Jim Cummings did the voice, where they were like, here's an episode about the wrapping paper. And it was this rich kid ripping off this golden piece of wrapping paper and throwing it aside. And you watch this wrapping paper just get messed up and beaten up and just torn about and thrown into the trash until a homeless father picks up this wrapping paper and picks up a piece of trash out of the trash can. And I started to cry watching this, and my parents picked me up and they go, you watch this until the end. And I was like, and I still, it's burned on the back of my eyelids because the kid opens up a toy that was thrown out at the beginning of the cartoon by the rich kid for the new thing, and the wrapping paper is thrown out, and the little kid with the dad is so thankful for the toy, and the dad folds up the gold tissue paper and puts it in his shirt pocket, and you're like, I got it, like I got it. To the point where like my partners make fun of me. They're like, your house is your closet's filled with old shit, because I'm like, because I fold it up and I remember that little cartoon. So there's a way
to
there's a way, and you guys are good. You guys are good. I worry about the rest of the guys out there, the rest of the dads who aren't, incredible actors and comedians. But
I don't let my daughters buy cards for people, like birthday cards or Christmas
Oh
cards.
yeah, my wife's the same. You make them.
I make them, and I go. You buy a card. What's the card says? Happy birthday. May this be the greatest birthday. Shut the fuck up. All you did was go. Here's $7. I just wasted $7.
Yeah.
For that. I go, you know what's more? You know what means more to people? And I don't know if this is true because they've given them to a lot of people, and people seem to be very excited. But my daughters will make the card and they'll say like, "Hey, happy birthday," and I go, "You're personalizing it. Isn't that much better than sitting there and just going through the store and buying a bag that says happy birthday, some tissue?" And we have a box of wrapping paper in the garage, and each time my wife buys a new roll of paper, I go, "What is this old birthday cards?" I'll tear the little tag that says "to so and so" off it and throw it out.
Even something I've been doing, Jamie, and I hope to pass that on to my son is I had Facebook. I don't know what happened to my Facebook. Thanks a lot, Zuckerberg, but I don't have my access to my thing. Apparently I made someone mad. I think I got hacked. Anyway, but I love the Facebook feature to see everyone's birthday. And I always did like a little personalized video. Instead of just posting happy birthday, hearts, XOXO, I would do like a little video of me doing an impression or something. Because it's just something like that. Because again, I don't know what's going on in their life. And just something to maybe make them laugh. And just like you said, I like doing the handwritten stuff. It just
otherwise it means nothing. It means nothing otherwise.
I've been fortunate enough to come into the arena of Weird Al Yankovic, and he'll get your email, and he'll do this to everybody. He makes it's a stock email where it's like, "Hey, Carlos, I'm sorry I'm busy," and he's at his desk. But I was trying to think of something to do for you, and then the desk opens up, and it's "Happy birthday," Carl, and balloons go off. He does it for everybody, and even though you know that your name is just inserted, it's still a personalized message from this guy who's you're way too busy to be doing this. And it's really wonderful.
You know who did that?
Same thing I did. Yeah,
Pee Wee Herman used to do that. Apparently, I didn't know him, but when he passed, tons of people who I know from the Groundlings or whatever shared the private messages that he sent on their birthday. And it was like, "Hey, so and so, it's Pee Wee Herman." I just went, and he sent everybody, and he goes, and there were so many. I was like, that must have been his jam when it was somebody's like. I'll see on Facebook it's somebody's birthday, but if they're a really good friend of mine, I'll text them, and I'll say something very personal. And if they're not a good friend of mine, I'm like, I don't.
Funny. I didn't get a text for you this July. That's weird.
I didn't. I'm not checking very often. It's very rare.
Okay.
No, I got to get a handful of friends.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm gonna jump, guys. I'm gonna try to convince this. And speaking of things that are special and we revere, and I know hotel rooms for you and saving things for you, I'm the same way. My daughter used to save tags off the back of underwear and save them in a box, and it was really special to her. But one of the things we like to do is try to watch Survivor, and I think the oldest one is growing out of it. So I'm gonna jump to see if I can get maybe 3.5 of us to watch a DVR episode of Survivor. As special as this is, it's nice to meet you, Taylor, and it's nice to meet you, Justin, personally.
Carlos, super fun tonight, man. Thank you so much for popping in.
Thank you, buddy.
Please, everybody, go check out Carlos, especially on your Instagram. I think that's where your main stuff is, right? On Insta?
Most of the stuff.
Yeah, he's touring a lot. He does the cons and the voices and stuff, and we love you, brother. Thank you so much for jumping in. Super fun.
Everybody. Everybody's so wonderful, so talented. I'm old.
Ladies and gentlemen, Carlos Rocky.
Bye, everybody.
See you, buddy.
Hey, Carlos.
Okay.
We got to wrap it anyway because my wife's out of town. I got to go put 2 kids to bed.
You guys got to go be great parents. Hey, you guys, this was really fun. It was so good to be
glad
back.
We did it.
Stateside.
I know we did the live one. Actually, there's a ton of people. We haven't been up for a few weeks. We are jumping to Patreon soon. We'll still pop up here with a little bit to lead everyone in. So
it's just going live there, and all of
come find us all on Instagram. We're kind of back doing some more shenanigans. We're back up. Taylor's been a huge help as our fourth member and our giant producer. And you guys have a podcast too. Do you want to plug that really quick?
Taylor?
No?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Justin and I will be. It's going to be launching soon, but Justin and I are co-hosting a podcast going to be called "We're Just So Cool." So it's my last name and Justin, and it's just us talking as two friends who met on a ship, and we just talk as friends do, and we're excited.
He
about
literally, it's literally because he said he was going to be a parent, and he had only 30 minutes a week to talk, and he's one of my best friends, if not my best friend. If that's even, I don't. Pardon my French. I don't like the best friend thing because that's bullshit. Everybody is. I love everybody.
I
All
tell my
friends
kids that all
are-
the time. She'll say that's my best friend. I said, don't do that
Don't
because
do that. It's not fair.
Don't pigeonhole me.
and
Yeah.
you don't know in 2 years, don't exclude
Yeah.
anyone. That's my
Yeah,
big thing about inclusion.
I'd step in front of a car I could stop for any of my friends. So, buses, it's another thing.
Yeah.
You're out in Palm Springs now doing the golf stuff. If you guys are golf fans, Justin's doing some amazing golf material.
Yeah.
I'll be out there playing soon. And I think we're doing some
yes.
gigs. We have some live gigs coming up soon.
Oh, we do. I can't wait to announce it. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. So
Live.
this was such a random night. We just hadn't been up in a while, and I said, "Hey, let's grab a drink and all meet up." And everyone jumped in. It was super fun. So I really had a fun time.
I love you guys.
Jason, do you want to give a little plug to where everyone can come find us all? We're back up. We actually we should tell everyone we had a little bit of a glitch. Our podcast was taken down very quickly by iTunes and such, and we just started putting it all back up. So we're back up on all the sites and under our new banner, and we're very excited about the next few months. We got a lot of stuff coming up, so we're super thankful to Jay, Freddie, Narcolepsy, Brandon, Melody, everybody who chimed in tonight. You guys,
we needed you tonight, buddy. We needed you.
I was having a crap night. I was really having a crap night, and I almost canceled. I was like, I don't think I can do this, man. I don't feel it. But
aren't you glad you did?
Super fun. So thank you to everybody for joining us, and give us a follow and a like and a subscribe, and we love you. And Jason, you want to pump anything at the end?
You can catch us live here usually every Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. We are going to be jumping over to patreon.com/the Parents Lounge. Until we make that jump soon, you can always catch us here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. No, so new episodes of the podcast drop every Monday.
The Scotch is finally taking hold. Fantastic. All right, we love you guys. Taylor, Justin, Jason, Jamie. We'll see you guys next time here in the Parents Lounge.
Good night, everybody.